Hi, my name's Gray. I work on the Polymer project at Google. And if you follow web components, you probably know something about our team. But this is the second Web Components SF meetup, and we're super excited to have you all here. How many of you were here for the first one in September? Okay, so I would say maybe a little bit less than half. It's great to see a bunch of familiar faces as well as a bunch of new faces. We're planning to do one of these, every few months. We don't have a fixed cadence, but we have already gotten a bunch of proposals for talks that we think you're all going to enjoy. And in fact, unlike last time when a couple of members of the Polymer project gave lengthy talks, this time I'm going to talk to you for a few minutes, but then we're going to turn it over entirely to other folks from the community. And we're excited that the web components ecosystem is growing to the point where we've got a lot of strong proponents for it, and you're going to hear from a couple of great voices tonight. Before we get started, just a couple of quick points of business. So this is an inclusive event. Our code of conduct is up on the meetup page, so check it out if you haven't already, but basically be good to each other. And then on a very practical note, there are restrooms here. There is a door back there that leads to a hallway, and you go down that hallway to the restrooms. If you do that, come right back, though, because the rest of the space back where the restrooms are is not technically open to the event. It belongs to the folks who work in this building. I think that's it for logistics. So before I talk about tonight's speakers, I just want to pause for one moment and celebrate the fact that as of very recently, we now have native web component support in all major browsers. Yes, so thanks to our friends at Microsoft who just released the version of Microsoft Edge based on Chromium. Things are looking up for web components and for users of the web. And so I just had to pause for a quick celebration. But tonight, we have a couple of really exciting talks for you. First, Ben Farrell from Adobe is going to come up and give a very entertaining talk around using web components in some ways that probably you haven't thought of. So I will leave it at that. And then Savo Knott, who is the founder of a startup called Mesh, is going to get up and talk about some of his company's experience in really pushing web components to the limit in terms of performance and scale. And they have some thoughts to share about how to do things like state management and data propagation in an app that uses web components in its UI. And that's it. Except we have a couple things here. We'll put this slide up again at the end of the evening as well. But there's a few action items. First, our friends at webcomponents.dev, which if you haven't checked out, you should. It's sort of a cool web-based IDE that lets you quickly experiment with lots of different libraries and tools for building things out of web components. They have a special offer for attendees of the Web Components SF meetup. And I don't remember the designation, but there's basically a they either have released or about to release some sort of paid plans, and there's a free offer for you to get in at one of their sort of tiers of service. So definitely check that out. And then we also really want to hear from you after the event, how you thought things went. So we have a feedback form up. We'd love to get comments, suggestions of all kinds. And then lastly, as I mentioned, we already have actually several good potential talks queued up, but if there are web components topics that you would like to speak on, definitely come and fill out a talk request form, and we would love to have you speak at a future event.